Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to Gloves Off with Johnny. Recently, WBC stripped Shakur Stevenson from his 135 title, but it's another fighter, superstar fighter, that is talking against WBC. But this is going to be a problem for WBC because as more superstar fighters keep talking against sanctioning bodies, I think specifically WBC, it doesn't look like any other sanctioning bodies are being talked about recklessly, as the WBC. It sounds like they're willing to negotiate in a low percentage, which is great. But the WBC, they're pretty, they stand on business. And, this could be a problem because as superstars come out, superstar fighters keep coming out and talking against sanctioning bodies or the WBC specifically, nobody's going to want to pay those fees, and that can hurt WBC tremendously. And the president of the WBC, he is just, he's a controversial figure. He's the spokesman, and he, he stands on what the rules of the WBC are and everything, and it doesn't seem like he wants to fold or anything. But the thing is, WBC, and specifically them, they do a lot of political moves, like allowing Ryan Garcia to fight for the 147 title, even though he just lost, and allowing Manny Pacquiao, who has been retired for 4 years, to fight Mario Barrios for the WBC welterweight title. It's interesting. It's all political moves. Of course, both Ryan and Manny Pacquiao, they're both superstar fighters, and it's cool. We want to see them fight for a title because that's what fans want and fans like. And I don't mind it myself because I'm a fan first. But I can see where people could have an issue with other fighters that have been fighting, that have been staying consistent, that have been winning, and they don't get their shot. They don't get they're not able to get their shot to fight for the title. They get jumped in line. And so that could be frustrating for the other fighters. I understand. On side of that, let's get back to what we were going to talk about the sanctioning fees. I think they should just be open to negotiate, and the WBC, like the other sanctioning bodies are, because if you're not willing to negotiate, people are not going to mess with you. People are not going to F with you. I know WBC is a historic title. I know that. But as new generations keep coming, people are not caring as much as they did back in the day, some people do care as much for the history of those belts. You know what I mean? I understand. And it makes you it makes you a real champion because you're paying the sanctioning fees, and makes you a certified champion. We get it. But people don't care. People just, this new generation, they want to make the money. They want to look good. They want to be flashy. You know what I mean? And they don't want to abide by those rules. They don't want to play by those rules because they have a problem with where's our money going? We're having to bleed for this money. Where is our money going? You're taking this percentage out of my check, and I have to fight for it, and you're not fighting for nothing, and I have to pay you to keep the belt. That is crazy. So I understand both sides. WBC, they gotta stay in business too, and they've been doing that. That's how they started. That's how WBC and the other sanctioning bodies started. So it's just, they're still doing the same thing, but I think they gotta change a little bit. And I understand, the fighter side. They're like, why would I gotta give this money? I gotta give all this money, and I'm bleeding for this fight. I can give this money to my daughter. I can give this money to my kids. So I understand the frustration. In my opinion, right now, I think they have to lower the percentage. I think they gotta move better with the times. I think they gotta understand who they're dealing with, because these old superstars are leaving. New superstars are coming in, and they're in the making right now. And some of them, they're not effing with these sanctioning bodies like they were. And that's how you got Zuffa Boxing. Look at Zuffa Boxing. Zuffa Boxing's F the sanctioning bodies. you know. But also, like, I like another perspective on this is like having a title in boxing gets you a bigger fights. So that's another perspective to look at it. You know, that's how they're able to make more money. Cause look at for instance, Canelo and Terrence Crawford. That fight wouldn't have been as big if it wasn't for all the titles in 168. Same thing with Shakur and Teofimo. That fight wouldn't have been as big if it wasn't for the Ring Magazine belt and the WBO. So let me know what you think. Are the sanctioning bodies tripping? Or the fighters tripping? Let me know what you think in the comments. Like, subscribe, and thank you again for joining another Gloves Off with Johnny. Peace and love.